What's up, guys? Welcome back. Like, the second video is always the hardest, so let me tell you a story about Face ID and how it ended up becoming a very important thing for Apple while being ignored in the beginning. So let's rewind, let's go back to 2017. 2017, the iPhone X is getting announced, and before it was announced, people were wondering, what is this home buttonless future gonna look like? How is the authentication gonna work? How does the phone look? And how is Apple gonna implement this without a home button? Because what we knew at the time was, well, there will be an iPhone without a home button with like a pretty much borderless display, but we didn't know how it's gonna turn out. So Apple introduced the iPhone X. It had the thing we all know as the notch, the cutout at the top, and they introduced Face ID, which was gonna replace Touch ID in their iPhones. And of course, there's this famous fail on stage where Greg Federighi tried to demonstrate how Face ID works, and he just, the phone wouldn't work, and the feature wouldn't work. So it really was a PR disaster at the time for Apple. And of course, now today we know why it failed, because the iPhone then already had this safety feature that if too many different faces look at your Face ID iPhone in a very short period of time, it will shut off the Face ID functionality because it thinks it's getting like tricked around or something. Like, it's just a safety feature, and it worked as intended, but it really effed up this presentation Apple was doing. Even after the presentation, I mean, it was very clear from the beginning that it was just because of this safety feature that it didn't work, but Face ID was like being laughed at because it was slow at the time, because I mean, people thought it wasn't as reliable as Touch ID. People thought it was limited. But look at today, you know, Apple stuck with it, of course, because it's a multi-million-dollar decision that they made even years before 2017, and of course they're sticking with it, right? What I really find interesting about this story is how essentially Face ID conquered the whole market, how nobody in the right mind would critique Face ID the way it was critiqued in 2017 by the tech press, being slow, being unreliable, whatever. Because if you look at it objectively, it is a very secure, very reliable, and very fast way of biometrically authenticating someone's likeness. Like, it's way safer than Touch ID. It's like 1 in a million, I think, is the chance that some other person unlocks your Face ID. I really get pissed off when people say that Android and Touch ID and fingerprint sensors, under display fingerprint sensors, are better. It's a disgrace to the technology itself. I really get pissed off about that, because objectively Face ID is better. It is, with the intent that it was developed, really something astounding. I mean, you have this Johnny Ive vision that you just have zero boundaries when interacting with a particular device, and he really was all about that. I mean, you look at how Face ID works, how they first implemented in iOS 10 this race to wake feature, and then they introduced Face ID the year after, which made sense, right? Because you want to have the least amount of boundaries when interacting with your phone. And if you take your iPhone and you really notice what's going on here, I mean, you raise your phone, the display turns on, Face ID already recognizes your face because you look at your phone, so it is already unlocked the second you look at your screen, and you just swipe up and you're in. And that is zero boundaries. Of course, it's not zero boundaries, but that's like the thing we had in the first iPhone, the slide to unlock. It's like a thing where it is zero boundaries, yet it still requires the attention of the user, which is clever. You know, I like that. I don't know if anyone's gonna care about this story. I just think it is unfair to call Face ID a bad decision. I think it is unfair to say Apple should go back to Touch ID or to implement something like Touch ID under display, because first of all, they weren't going to do it. They have spent so much money on this technology, and it will turn out great, I promise you. I mean, Apple is working hard on this behind the scenes, I'm sure. They made the technology better, they made the technology smaller. In iPhone 14 Pro, we can see that it's become way smaller than in the iPhone 10. And I think they will end up bringing this technology under screen. And then what are you going to say about it? It's fast, it's reliable, it's ultra safe, because it is 3D after all. Like, it's a 3D representation of someone's face. It cannot be faked by a photo or like by a photograph or something. And what you gonna say about that? I'm really curious what you think about this story. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this is not too boring, but I really wanted to get this out. And yeah, we're gonna do a lot of videos in the future. Gonna do a lot of really interesting videos in the future, but today is just a talking video. I really appreciate if you're still here. So yeah, subscribe, like, and you know the rest, and I'll see you.